Today's topic is Be a Master. So, Be a Master is based on a book the Patriji has written in the year of 1994. So, before I go ahead and start, my Atma Pranamams to our beloved Guru and all of you, the masters and PSSM masters, for giving me this opportunity. So let's start. This is really a vast topic for sure, based on whatever we have learned in our earlier sessions. So there are certain topics that I'm going to touch again, but not in very depth. So let's go ahead. So we all call each other's masters, and I think we all know who is a master. So just to question ourselves, we all call there are so many great masters. So who is a master? At a high level, this is not a specific definition as such, but I'm just trying to throw some of the basic information on who is a master. A person who is enlightened, right? Who can master his senses, his mind, and then his body. So who is not actually influenced by outer influences. So whatever is happening, so he knows what he is sitting in his own. So that's what I think Kirti is also was trying to say in our meditation practice, right? And who is always with their divine qualities, so love, light, joy, brotherlyhood, helping. So who is always with the divine qualities, who can show a path. He can become a light for others to get enlightened. So this is what I have learned from other PSSM masters, Arpatriji. So who is enlightened and helping us to to go into that particular path. So this is not a very tight definition as such, at a very high level, for us to understand, okay, who is a master. So mastery can be related to anything. So when we are in a bachelor's, we know, like, okay, I'm doing this many subjects, but if I want to master in this subject, then we will go for the higher studies. So this is the same in the spiritual science also, like where we get to know so many things, and we experience it, and then we feel it, and then we have to apply to our life. So at a high level. And then Patriji always says we are all masters. So initially I used to confuse, okay, how can we are all masters, we are all gods, right? So let's cover this in deep in our coming slides. Okay, so and this is, as I said, this is based on the book what Patriji has written. The book is really um what do you call, from the lengthwise and then the breadthwise also, it's so much deep. So I'm just covering only at the high level topic. So this is from a book called The Mind, written by Swami Shivananda, who is a founder of Divine Life Society. So he says in his preface, in the first page, the mind is no doubt extremely turbulent. Through repeated attempts, you can, perfectly subdue it. And you are the master of the mind by abhyasa. Abhyasa is nothing but our meditation and vairagya, right? Assert your master. Feel the power and bliss and splendor that results from the perfect self, right? So self quest conquest. So everybody should have that quest or conquest to understand, okay, who am I? So I will go a little bit deeper into the next. So curbing the mind ruthlessly. And if you have read some of the books, I read the book called A Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. So the Robin Sharma, he says, okay, be strict to yourself. So all these are, I think, it's evolved from the spiritual science, right? Annihilate desire. When desire dies, mind is your slave, becomes desireless, and be victorious. So when we say become desireless, it is not something not not towards the right desires is always good. So this is a beautiful book on mind. So if you get a chance, just go ahead and there is a PDF is also available. So how mind manipulates, right? Mind always manipulates. This is also a pretty high level. So a small example, right? A sight of a fish. I mean, what exactly the author is trying to say here is, you have a stimuli outside of you, and then looking at some your favorite food, and then saliva is, appearing in the tongue. Isn't it very, um, uh, very strange, right? Because it's a mystery that an object lights outside and saliva appears in the tongue, and because you have this experience daily in everyday life, so you do not attach much importance to it. So mind is very mysterious, so mind can manipulate you in many terms. In other terms, it is called maya. So going to a thoughtless state or no mind state is very important in the meditation. So that's why its mind is like a wall between us and then our higher self. So once we dissolve that, that's where you start connecting and receiving energies. Going to the next slide. So in 1990, Patriji has at a high level he touched when he is enlightened, how his entire life has changed. I mean to say, not the life, the problems he thought no more problems, it became challenges. And the priorities, what he thought, those priorities has completely changed, that those are not at all the priorities. And coming to my personal experience is also, it's just the same thing. So before coming into the meditation and after coming into the meditation, so there are certain situations where, constantly asking why this is happening. And once you are in, you are in this field, and once you are going into a path, I mean, towards the truth, right? So everything is clear, everything is so clear that okay, everything is happening because of some reason. So because of my soul evolution. So that's what it is. So once Patriji sir is enlightened, he has the PSSM, that is at that time it's a Karnool Spiritual Societies. So I really like the objectives what sir has put, right? So he has first point to enlighten people on all the facts discovered in the spiritual science and start the pyramid meditation. We all have learned pyramid meditation in our earlier classes. So and then to develop divine consciousness among all. So one of the um, in my earlier slide, I touched about the divine feelings, right? Love, being in a joyful state, love, and everything. So, and being in an explorative state, and to bring home the truth of these are the topics we have been hearing, at least from in my case, like I've been hearing from childhood. Okay, reincarnation, law of karma, but never ever applied or thought it is like okay, that is different to my physical life. So once I came into meditation, I started applying this. Okay, reincarnation, law of karma, eternal life, there is the astral worlds, astral masters, there is a life after death, and akashic records, and to help initiate experimenting with it, right? So the last one is to spread the message of universal love, brotherlyhood, fearlessness, and free thinking, etc. Such a beautiful, beautiful things. What else we need in the life, right? To lead the life so happily. So these are the objectives. And then so meditation and spiritual science, right? We all have learned in our earlier classes the meditation and spiritual science. It's a single most method or practice by help of which we progress in the acquisition of knowledge of spiritual science. And spiritual science is the science like which studies the nature of life between birth and then the death, and the nature of life between before birth and after birth, and nature of consciousness, and nature of choices, plans, and purpose of all beings, and nature of happiness, progress, fulfillment, and nature of dreams and out of body experiences. Such a beautiful, beautiful topics. if you go into deep dive, yeah, we can talk for hours and hours on this one, but it's just at a high level on the spiritual science and how we apply the meditation to unlock some of this knowledge, right? So so there are some, this slide is really interesting topic, really interesting slide, and there are interesting facts here. So most of the reasons are cause for pain is like ignorance, right? So I was painful, I was in a painful situation because out of my ignorance, I out of lack of knowledge. So there are certain wrong beliefs held by atheists and the corresponding truths revealed by the spiritual science. This table, if you read carefully, I'm going to read. So what is a fallacy and what is a fact, right? So the fallacy is like, as a human mind says, this physical body is I. When I say I am the body. But the fact is, the physical body is not the total I. The physical body is just one of the seven bodies. So there are seven bodies. I'm not sure if it's covered, or probably it's going to take an entire other session, beautiful session. So our, we all know our body is made of um, five elements, right? So that's etheric body, and there are many other bodies also, mental body, so causal body. So but physical body is just only one entity out of all the among others. So the second one is, everybody thinks like birth is the beginning of I and the death is the end. So whenever a baby is born, I said, oh, he's my baby. And whenever we lose a loved ones, okay, we lost. And so, but the fact is, before birth I was there, and I continue to exist after the death of the physical body. So this is like, okay, I'm standing in this way, and I can look only 180 degrees, right? But there is other things like a 360 degrees which I cannot see. So whatever our physical eye can see, that's what we feel like, okay, are in this dimension, in this earth planet. So that's what we tend to I mean, people tend to believe that I'm just living from my birth to the death, but that's not the case. You as a soul, we are existing before that and after that also. So the third one is things exist by chance, events happen by chance. That's not true. So nothing happened by chance. Everything happens by choice. So in every situation, we have a choice. Either whatever the choice you choose, right? So that's your choice. So that's where you create your own reality. And then the fourth one is the physical. The visible universe is the only universe. As I mentioned, we are living in the Earth planet, and I cannot see other planets. So because I'm not in that distance wise, I'm not in the frequency wise. So that's not true, right? We all know there is an infinite number of frequency universes. That means there are, like this galaxies, there are a number of other galaxies also exist, which we can't see with our naked eye. So out of which our present visible universe is just one, that is absolutely non-living thing. So absolutely no non-living thing. So the first fifth one is there are living beings and non-living things, right? As I say, we all I mean, I learned in my science classes, right? Okay, there are living things and non-living things. Whoever has life, like humans, animals are living things, are chairs, all others are non-living things. That's not true from the spiritual science also. Everything is a speck of ECK, that is energy, consciousness, and knowledge, right onto the atoms and subatomic particles and beyond. So we all know our blood cells, or our body is made of atoms, right? At the same thing for non-living things also. Even they have the energies and they have the consciousness, but only thing is, once you start meditating and you start looking at, so that's why in one of our earlier classes with Chandraji, he always try to give the gratitude to the living things and non-living things also. And So that's why I always say thanks to my car. I always say thanks to my chair, whatever is helping me, doing my job. So, and then the sixth one is there is no specific purpose to life. So I think we all can relate this to this very much easily. So there is a definite purpose, right? A definite plan, a definite goal to all specs. ECK. Every being is here to enjoy to explore and to evolve in its own shoes and fashion. So we are not here to bear the pain, we are not here to do something, so but to evolve. So probably a pain is a part of evolution, but there is a specific purpose to everyone's life. So there are these, I know these are a little bit not so simple concepts, but I really delighted when I was actually going through this and making this presentation. So the next slide is also continues the same. What is a fallacy versus fact? So the first one is, this is in seeking of the God. So the earlier one was like on a belief system. This one is God is somewhere in the heaven. We have to worship Him and surrender ourselves to obtain salvation, right? So the fact is, God is not a person. God is a fundamental substratum consciousness. We are all gods. Everything is God. We only have to realize this and evolve. So that's where when Patriji says we are all masters, we are all gods. Everybody, I mean, we all have God inside, but how do we develop the divine qualities and make ourselves and be in a godly manner? So that's what is about the first topic. And the second one is, God fixes our destiny and our fate. As God ordains, so do we reap. So the fact is, destiny is not a fixed one. We make our own reality through our own belief system, our thinking, our choice. Everything is our choice. I mean, that based on our thinking, right? Based on our mind. So we reap what we sow. So, and then the third point is, we have to forget about ourselves and live only to help others. This is also a wonderful point which I found very helpful for myself also. In short, we have to be absolutely selfless. It's kind of a, the belief system has said like, okay, if you are not helping others, that it's are you kind of a greedy, or you're doing for yourself. But yeah, probably we can help in a materialistic world. That means, yeah, I can lend some helping hand in terms of money or something else. But the actual help, each person can help only himself or herself. So one can never help others in real terms. When I say real terms, in spiritual terms, right? One can only reveal the knowledge to others who wish to help themselves. The knowledge is nothing but uh, the spiritual knowledge. So who that's where the job ends. One can only be an inspiration to others, but the person who wants to evolve, he has to work on his own to to yeah, that's what the actual help is here. And the fourth one is, we have to repress our emotions and desires and mortify our body and self to attain salvation. Now, so it is like, okay, if you see gurus and all, they are not speaking, they are very calm. That means they don't have any emotions. This was my perception initially, but my personal experience is, after coming to the meditation, earlier I was like, I never used to speak. I was very shy person, either in a classroom or in my office. Or I could speak, but I could not stand for one thing that is very strong. Or always I was thinking to please others, or any other kind of in a similar ways, right? But that's not true. In terms of, in terms of your evolution, there should never be a repression. We are here to express ourselves, but in a right manner, right? Ever so, physical body should never be subjected to any mortification. So we use our emotions, we use our tone, like the throat chakra. Once our throat chakra is clear, right, use your emotions in a right way. You are angry where you have to be angry, you are calm where you have to calm, or you are like you are not responding to the any other negativity when it's not required. You are actually as a shield, as Kirti was saying. So that's what it means here. We make our own sufferings through our false belief system. Yes, so the belief systems which are there in the society, so that's been coming through the ages, that's been conditioned and rooted, right? So the fifth point is suffering is god given and we should always strive to courageously endure it. This is also a big false belief system. God will never give us suffering. So when we experience suffering, the cause should be immediately identified and uprooted. So the suffering happens only through the ignorance. Probably I am not taking in a situation in the right way, or probably the cause for that is something for me to evolve or to understand. So there are certain situations where personally I have had not sufferings, but I had a pain. Then I sat down and started thinking about it or meditating about it, why this has come to me. Then I say I got an answer saying that probably you have an expectation over there, or you have an attachment over there. So you, so it's very hard, but slowly that is what the sadhana, the more practice, we should be able to understand why what is the root cause for the suffering, right? So that's about point 5. And 6 is salvation. We all it's all been told salvation mean union and it's irreversible amalgamation of the jivatma and paramatma. Absolutely. I was also thinking in the same terms. But the thing is, salvation means self realization, right? Unless I do self realization and knowing who I am, why I am here, so I cannot be in a state of salvation. And knowing that we are alone or responsible for our respective destinies. So that's where your actual salvation is about. So this is about some of the fallacy and then the facts. And how do we master mental turbulence, right? So as I already mentioned, so the mind is like a, gives a lot of turbulence. Those who realize and discard the wrong beliefs, so whatever the wrong beliefs we have all seen, and through the study of spiritual science, widen their consciousness and become rooted in facts, always be in a facts mode. I know because of the conditioning, false systems or false belief systems keep coming back. So it happens to me when I'm in a meditative state. I am in one state, and once I go out, mind started giving me again the same type of a, whatever. So always become rooted in facts and be living in a conscious state, and as such grow stronger and happier by the hour. So in no time mental turbulence is replaced by mental tranquility. Trivial, futile and parasitic activities give away to significant, effective and symbiotic activities. So that's how you can master the mind. So and so once we master the mind, once we are rooted into the truth, once we leave all of the false belief system, right? An enlightened master would be like how he would be, right? So basically, physically wonderfully fit, mentally perfect, agile in shape, intellectually very sharp as a razor, emotionally full of calmness, friendship, and joy, and existentially full of positivity, creativity, spontaneity, and finally, and spiritually, he'll be illuminating. So that's what all the qualities of a spiritual master. So we can attain all this by constantly practicing being uprooted, I mean rooted to the truth. So and then how do we realize our own godhood, right? So this example was given so beautifully. The unaware seed are sampling god that we are. so we all know we are gods, but I don't know I was a god. I mean, for me, like a god is like, okay, they who is someone, okay, sitting in a temple, or like who is worshipped. But through meditation, reading books, and personal discussions, so this is what PSSM follows, right? Yeah, meditation, and then swadhyayam, sajjana sangatyam, grow into aware tree god full of beautiful flowers. Flowers is nothing but your what do you see when if a tree is full of flowers, right? Joy, happiness, love. And then the fruits is functional and shade, which you're becoming a light for others to bring them along to the path of the enlightenment. So you're actually helpful. So that's how we realize our own godhood. And there is other, so now we have seen like how we can become a master. And the next one is, after we become a master, what are the different experiences the masters say, right? So there are earlier I was in some of the groups where people were astonished by some of the facts which are said. How do they know? I mean, NASA has identified how much of distance between Earth and then the sun, and what's the sound of the sun. So all this was being written in our ancient Vedas and all. And how did that happen? That happened, I mean, through the masters. So there is this is a beautiful topic again, shruti and smriti. So the shruti is what we hear when our normal thinking faculty is totally shut in the meditation. So that's where we are going into a no mind state, and we are not using our mind. And when we are in a trance, vivid dreams, when tuned into a different dimension, so I'm not in this dimension, I'm going to the some other dimension. So receive messages from one over self or from other masters. So there are so many masters who has shared their experience in terms of like what they have, to their quest, right? They had some questions, and how so the answers are beautifully given by the other astral masters. So that is shruti. That happens when you are in a meditative state. And then the other one is smriti, is I come out of my meditation state, and smriti is normal contemplative thinking faculty, right? Enlarges understanding of this dimension, whereas Shruti brings knowledge of other dimensions. So when I come out and say, "Oh, Master has told me this one," so this has happened to me. I mean, once I before in my meditation practice, right? Anything I have choice, right? Like any situation comes, and then I have two choices. I struggled, which one to take, this one or this one. But now I just close my eyes and sit and meditate. And then there are certain messages who given in such a way that, okay, I got more clarity. Okay, this is what the masters are saying. If again, it's a choice. So so that's what happens in the meditation state and after the meditation state, the smriti. So rishis are seers are wedded to shruti, and philosophers or scientists are wedded to smriti. So this mind versus other mind, this mind is our mind, other mind is like a shruti whom we are hearing from the greater masters. Okay, so now we will look at few messages received from higher self during meditation. So these are the questions posed by some of the masters, and then the answers, right? So what is truth? Uh, so truth is like a seed; it has many dimensions. So these answers are given by the masters when the PSM masters are meditating, are some of the higher masters, right? As a seed, you see one dimension only. So I take a seed in my hand, I just see, okay, it's in my hand right now. But when it sprouts and grows into a plant, you see a different thing. So probably it's about 2 feet or 3 feet, and then it becomes a tree. You see yet another thing. There are different dimensions to treat. So one can never say, I know all the truth. The truth is having different dimensions. And then when if you get a chance, go through the book, Be a Master, and then it says what is a problem also. So a problem is a clash of ideas. When I joins, it becomes a problem. So whenever in our brainstorming sessions, everybody starts brainstorming the ideas, that's fine. When anybody starts, I think this will work, I think this may not work, that's where problems start, from the other persons or from the team, right? So when a problem arises, do what you wanted to do and just detach yourself from it. Do not worry about the result. This is again told in Gita by Lord Krishna, right? Do the karma, but do not attach to the results. And as part of yogic hierarchy also, we learned the same thing. So the problem is the expectation. So you do something and you wanted that to happen in a way that you wanted to be, it may or may not, right? So you detach yourself, so that's where, like, it comes back. And what is the purpose of life? The purpose of life is to make the limited unlimited, to learn to live in a limited, to reach unlimited. So I am in a limited world, but I am working how to reach the unlimited world, right? So unlimited is not something I can see with my naked eye, or the spiritual science, the depth of the spiritual science. There is n number of things to be known, so to travel towards the light, truth. So, as I meant, you might have seen in the earlier slide, what are Akashic records? So, thoughts and feelings of each and every one are recorded like a vibration. So, that's why having to have a positive thoughts in any kind of a situation is so important. So, that's everything is been recorded, and it will be vibrating the whole place. So just like the voice is recorded on the magnetic tape. So it's if you want, you can go and search more on the Akashic records, and also it is given in the book also at the later point. So, and then other uh, great technique or topic about the masters is automatic writing. I'm not stressing more into this, but if you see in most of the Western world, people asked to write the journals, right? And then diaries and all. So but when you are in a meditative, in the meditation journey or in the enlightenment path, the mode of speaking by a soul through the pen held by a physical human is called auto writing. So the thoughts of the soul are vibrated into the mind of the writer, and it starts scribbling as if an answer came from his own mind. But it's not. The answers are coming from the masters. So I had a beautiful experience. So I mean, before coming to the PSSM, I used to do a meditation, that's other Sahaja Yoga meditation. So there was a issue or a problem that I had been going through, and it's causing a lot of pain and suffering. So one day, somehow I just felt like, okay, I wanted to, vent out by writing and then tearing it off. So my daughter had yeah, activities, and she was in her activity for 40 minutes or 1 hour. So I started taking the pen and paper and started writing. So initially I think it was my mind who was actually talking about the problem, and later on, it started giving the solution. And there are certain words which I wrote, which I have never heard about it, which I never thought about it. Basically, I was actually blaming myself for the situation. Probably I have done this, so that's why this is all coming. But I'm, as a self love concept, so you should always love ourselves, right? So I think I got a message in the similar lines, but I can tell in Telugu. I'll try to translate in English also. So the line which had given me so much happiness and joy is like, um atma ninda చెయ్యకు ఆత్మ పరిశీలన చేసుకో. So you're actually I'm actually blaming myself, right? So you can analyze your what do you call, at a soul level, but don't blame it. So it was, I have never heard about that, my that words either in the book or anywhere else. So auto writing is also very powerful. This was not pretty much what do you call accepted in earlier days, I guess, but this is very famous in Western world. People do believe, Western masters do believe in auto writing and all. So anytime after meditation, if you think, you can experiment it on yourself. So it has given a beautiful outcome for me, for sure. At least in case there are so many things, right, like a light language and all. So there are ways that masters are always there to convey the messages, but only thing is we have to tune in into that particular frequency. That's about auto writing. And then what is how the new age man should be. So these are all the sayings by great masters like Osho, Rampa, and Lord Buddha. So if you look at Osho, he says a new age person, he dances, he celebrates, and lives happily and spontaneously, come what may. So that's what we have seen in a what how the enlightened master should be, right? Without any thought of past or future, he or she is utterly in the present, or he she is free of all repression and has become like a freely moving cloud. So you're not carrying anything, your cloud is, all we know, like how much of weight the cloud will carry, right? So but there is a weight so but it's so light. So that's Osho says. And the new age man, as per Lapsang Rampa, a new age person strives to activate. There are so many other beautiful quotes. I have not included everything, but yeah. So he says that strive to activate his third eye and develop the ability to do the astral travel, so that he or she may travel freely into all the space and all the corners of infinite cosmos. So and there was other questions, beautiful questions being asked, like, okay, how fast I can travel. So the masters say you can travel with the speed of an ant or with the speed of a light. So you can do that. And then the new age person has traversed, as per Buddha. This is also beautiful. From wrong views to right views, a fallacy versus the fact. From wrong resolves to right resolves. From wrong speech to the right speech. We all know power of speech, right? So I think Ananti madam has given a pretty beautiful presentation on that. And from wrong actions to the right actions, from wrong way of eating to right way of living, from wrong efforts to the right efforts. What is a wrong effort, what is a right effort? Anything if I am doing for myself to evolve, or helping others to get evolved and enlightened, that's what the right effort, right? So from wrong attention to the right attention. What I'm looking, I mean, it's Patricia says, yeah, enjoy it, but whether you are putting your energy or focus or attention on a right thing or a wrong thing. And from wrong meditation to the right meditation. Wrong meditation, probably you're closing your eyes, and then you're not consciously going into that deep meditative state. So that's what Buddha says. And I think final is about the new age man. So the new age person has at last become one with the truth and one with all the masters. In fact, the new age person himself and herself has become a master. And how do we become a master? By quickly recapping to the earlier slides, how mind manipulates, aligning our mind with the soul. Probably mind says 100 things, but soul says the correct thing. So align it and bring everything to your senses. And we are not going into the mind state, and I mean mind, what do you call, the whatever it does, but we are bringing mind to our soul. um, and then yeah, so be a master and be happy, happy, be joyful. um, and yeah, so this is what I think, this comes the end of it. I know this is a very very deep subject, but again, we can easily relate to our day to day, our with our experiences very easily, how the lives has changed for many people. Yeah, the live example is I myself. So what I used to be before and what I am now is completely different. So I mean, when I say we can get senses to our control, so I became vegetarian very naturally. And earlier I was not a big fan of meat eating, or but again, all conditioning, right? So people say, I mean, I raised in a kind of a family where non-veg is kind of, social status, or somebody comes, oh, you have to feed them the non-veg. So being from a non-attachment, from attachment to the non-attachment, and being in a blissful state without having anything, I mean, not seeking happiness from outside. There is always so much of happiness. So any pyramid master, all everybody says this, like, there is so much of happiness inside that you have just have to align yourself and be in a conscious state. Everything will falls in place, and you will have a lot of confidence in the things that you're doing also. Like I said, in one of the slide we saw, being a fearless. So you know how to master it, or a situation, or how to tackle things, how to be unaffected by situations, outside influences, right? So masters, it is a blissful journey. I mean, the journey leads to a blissful state for sure. Thank you.